Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming. My name is Andrew Bean, and today I will be informing you on the National Hockey League. Steve Rushin, an American journalist, sports writer, and novelist, once said, "By the age of 18, the average American witnesses 200,000 acts of violence on television, which most of them occur from one playoff series in the National Hockey League. Not only do I play ice hockey, I've watched almost every single game in the NHL on TV since I was very young. The NHL is one of the biggest, well-known, and most competitive professional sporting leagues in the world. I have been watching hockey for 13 years now, and I play junior hockey in the Eastern Hockey League. Among the topics I will discuss today, first I will discuss the history of the NHL. Second, I will discuss the rules that go into the NHL. And lastly, I will discuss the impact the NHL has had on the cities who house the teams. To begin, the International Pro Hockey League was the first professional ice hockey league which lasted from 1904 to 1907. After it folded, the National Hockey Association in Canada and the Pacific Coast League merged to play a championship series in 1914. The winners of this series would be awarded a famous silver bowl awarded by the English Governor of Canada, Lord Stanley. During World War II, the NHA stopped, and after the war ended, the 5 elite teams joined to form the NHL in place of the NHA. By 1926, the PCL folded, and the 10 teams of the NHL separated into 2 divisions, the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference. It became tradition that the winners of the Eastern Conference would play the winners of the Western Conference for the Stanley Cup Championship. In 1942, the original 6 era begins. The new original 6 teams in the NHL would be the Boston Bruins, the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Montreal Canadiens, the Detroit Red Wings, the New York Rangers, and the Chicago Blackhawks. These teams would make up the NHL for the next 25 years. In 1967, the NHL performed the largest expansion in professional sports history by adding 6 more teams. The addition of the California Seals, the Los Angeles Kings, the Minnesota North Stars, the Philadelphia Flyers, the Pittsburgh Penguins, and the St. Louis Blues. By 1970, the NHL added 2 more teams, the Buffalo Sabres and the Vancouver Canucks. In 1972, the New York would get their second NHL team based in Uniondale, New York, called the New York Islanders. That same year, the Atlanta Flames joined the NHL too, but they would move to Calgary in 1980. With the addition of the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Nashville Predators, the Minnesota Wild, the Florida Panthers, the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim, and the Ottawa Senators, and the merging of previous teams, the NHL would hit 30 by the year of 2000. In 2006, Commissioner of the NHL, Gary Bettman, announced another expansion, introducing the Las Vegas Golden Knights to the NHL for their inaugural season of 2017-2018. The Golden Knights will also be the first ever sports team in Las Vegas. Now that I have discussed some of the history of the NHL, I will now discuss the rules that go into the NHL. An NHL-sized rink is comprised of a big oval ice surface that is 200 feet long and 85 feet wide. The rink has a goal line at each end of the ice and a net on each side of the ice that is 4 feet high and 6 feet wide. At the center of the rink, there is the center ice face-off circle, where the puck is dropped at the beginning of every period, at the beginning of all 3 periods, and after every goal. In the NHL, they play 3 20-minute periods. In the center of the ice is the red line. which runs through the center ice circle. If a player entering the offensive zone offensive side of the ice does not cross the red line before dumping the puck, it is an icing. The face-off is in their defensive zone. To get back to the ice layout, on each side of the red line are the blue lines, which divides the ice into 3 zones: the defensive zone, the neutral zone, and the offensive zone. The puck must enter the zone before any players cross the blue line. In the NHL, each team has 6 players on the ice, 5 skaters, and 1 goalie. If you have 6 skaters, including the goalie, it is a too many men penalty. You must send 1 man from the ice into the penalty box for 2 minutes. To discuss more of the basic penalties, tripping is when 1 man takes his stick and takes out the legs of another man on the ice. Holding is when 1 man grabs the jersey and basically tugs another man to stop his play. Hooking is when 1 man takes the blade of his stick and tugs at the waist of another man to slow him down. Interference is a blatant check or to interfere with one's play when the puck is nowhere to be found. Slashing is when you take your stick and you blatantly slash their stick or hand or wrist to interfere with them to make a play. Spearing can be done with the butt end or the blade, basically in the stomach or any part of the body. It can be also called as a intent to injure and have multiple game misconducts. High sticking is when you hit another opponent in the head or the face with the end of your stick. Cross-checking is when you have your hands and your stick parallel to your chest and you follow through for an illegal hit to either the head, the back, or the chest. And fighting is another 2-minute penalty where 2 men decide to draw and go at it. More dangerous or serious penalties include elbowing to the head and the chest or the back, which could be a 5 and a 10 with a game misconduct. Checking from behind is intent to injure. It is 2 and a 10, and if a player is down for an extended period of time, it is a 5-minute major, and it will be looked at to see if further game misconducts will be taken. Kneeing is when you stick out your knee to reach another player as you are attempting to hit them, and it can be a 5-minute major and usually goes along with the game misconduct. Roughing is when 2 guys in front of the net possibly get in an argument and try and take each other down just so it ends all havoc. Refs will call roughing just to separate the 2 men. During every penalty, the team that goes on the power play, so the team that does not have the penalty, will get a power play where they have a 1-man advantage for 2 minutes or 5 minutes, depending on if the penalty is a minor or a major penalty. Now that we have learned about the rules of the NHL, I will now discuss the impact that the housing of teams has on their cities. Wells Fargo seats 19,500 people with an average ticket sale of $78 per ticket. The Wells Fargo Center has 40 main concourse concession stands and 38 mezzanine concession stands, not including DraftKings Lounge or Cadillac Grill, as those are private clubs. If you do the math for 78 stands, if you would multiply by 3 for 3 people working per stand, you would come up with 234 people. 78 stands times 4 people working in each stand would come up to 312 employees. If you do 78 stands multiplied by 5, that would be 390 employees working in all the stands. This is not including cotton candy vendors, popcorn vendors, water ice vendors, parking lot attendants, ice girls, ice guys, Zamboni drivers, equipment managers, and the overall maintenance or janitorial staff. During these games for the cities, the tax revenue that is created is immense. In 2016, the Flyers playoff run accumulated $500,000 in ticket tax revenue. With all NHL franchises combined, they are valued at $16.215 billion. The Flyers alone are worth $720 million. The amount of tax revenue created each season is immaculate. Also, again, kids and fans get autographs after game, during practices, so that the players can interact. So that the players may interact, and this makes the fans and the players feel like they're at home. In conclusion, the NHL has made such a positive impact on so many cities and communities since it was created 100 years ago in 1917. The NHL has come such a long way from the original 6 to now going on 31 teams this upcoming season. The NHL has opened up hundreds of jobs per team for the cities and contributed $1 million in tax money per year. The NHL has allowed so many young athletes to aspire to be like their pro role models in their hometown. The NHL has promoted youth and adult ice hockey everywhere. There are now stores, shops, and warehouses all over the country that sell local teams' jerseys and equipment for young and experienced adult hockey players. In every suburban surrounding city, in every suburban area surrounding the cities, teams in North America and Canada, youth hockey clubs are now being named after their NHL franchises. Lastly, every child and fan have their favorite player, whether it's because of how well they lead their team on the ice or how humble and positive an attitude they have when the fan meets that player off the ice. No matter how they meet, though, all fans want to be a part of their NHL team. Thank you very much. To cite my references, I have the National Hockey League opens its first season by History.com, A&E Television Networks, April of 2017. I have Cutler Klein, from 6 teams to 31, the history of the NHL expansion, from NHL.com, in June 22nd, 2016. Hockey 101, A Beginner's Guide to the Rules of Hockey, by Rink Management Services Corporation, in April of 2017. I have the National Hockey League official rulebook of 2015-2016 on NHL.com. I have the Wells Fargo Center Eat and Drink site, which is the 17th of April 2017. I have the Philadelphia Flyers on the Forbes The Business of Hockey list by Forbes magazine from 2017. I have Jonathan Tenenwald, the Flyers 2016 playoff run produced $500,000 in ticket tax revenue for Philadelphia on Philadelphia.com, which was published the 28th of September 2016. And I also have the Philadelphia Flyers schedule on the NHL Network for the Philadelphia Flyers. Thank you very much.